Hello everyone, welcome back to the Learn Python series. This is part 2 of the Learn Python series. If you haven't seen part 1 of the Learn Python series, please make sure to check that out. If you are unable to download Python in your computer, you can use Programmer's online Python interpreter, which is in the link in the description. All right, let's get started. Here is today's video's lesson overview. We're going to first go over arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, as well as exponents, modulus, and floor division. Then we will go over assignment operators. Here are all of the different arithmetic operators we can use in Python, and we will go over these today. Adding, subtraction, multiplication, division is just like normal. You can see the symbols used to add, subtract, multiply, divide in Python. The percentage sign stands for modulus. As you can see, the modulus is the remainder of the division of the left operand by the right. As you can see in the example for modulus, x modulus y returns the remainder of xy. For example, if you do 5 divided by 3, 5 modulus 3, it will give you the remainder of 5 divided by 3. Next, there's floor division, which is basically two division signs denoted with two division signs. When you do floor division, it will return the answer as a whole number without any decimal points. So basically, floor division is division that results in whole numbers adjusted to the left in the number line. For example, if you do 5 divided by 3 with floor division, it will just return the whole number, which is 1. And next we have exponent. Exponent, or it's just basically power, is denoted with the two multiplication signs. If you want to, exponent is basically raising to the power of something. For example, x to the power of y just raises x to the power of y. It's the same thing as like 5 to the power of 2, 7 to the power of 6. All right, let's give a few more examples for arithmetic operations. So something else you can do with all of these is you can assign variables to it. You can print these out as well. So for example, if we remember variables from part 1, so let's make a variable called x. We can have x equal to an integer 5. We can have y equal to another integer of, let's say, 19. So you can perform many different kinds of operations. So let's do addition. Remember, additions, you can just, in Python, just use the regular addition sign. So let's do print out the addition of x plus y. And if I run this, as you can see, it'll give you the addition of, it will give you 19 plus 5, which gives you 24. All right, so that's addition. You can change it up. You can change up your variables. You can change to 9. You can change your variable integer values. It will still work either way. And even if you have a negative value, it'll also work. It also works for negative values. All right, so that's addition. So you are also able to do subtraction. Subtraction is just a regular subtraction sign, and you're also able to assign variables as well. And you can see it'll give you the answer as well. So yeah, and you don't even need to assign variables in order to do it. You could simply just say print. You could just simply put 5. You could simply put 5 plus 7, and it'll give you the answer. So you don't necessarily have to make a variable. You can just simply just say print and whatever you want. And then we have multiplication division. Same thing, you can assign variables as well. And then you can just simply print out those variables with the multiplication sign. Right? Or you don't even, you could just simply have not made variables and just type out what you wanted to multiply together. All right. And that's the same thing as well for division. You can make variables with integers, and they don't actually just have to be integers. They could also be Boolean values. And Python should be able to divide, multiply, subtract, add, all of them together. So they don't just have to be integers. They could be Booleans with decimal points, or yeah, but they can addition, subtraction, as all of these only work for integers and Booleans and other number values. So now we have modulus. Modulus, as remember, it's denoted by the percentage symbol, which is this, right? So you could simply just say print, let's say 5 modulus 3, right? It will return the remainder, because when you do 5 divided by 3, there's a remainder of 2, right? That's the same thing as if you assign variables, it'll give you the same thing as long as you put it in the right order. Here, we assign x to 5 and y to 3. If you want to get the same answer, you have to remember to put the x first and then the y. That's the same thing, because remember the x is assigned to 5, y is assigned to 3. So you have to make sure it's in the correct order if you want to have the same ones. We can change it up as well. We can change up the numbers as well. You can have Booleans if you want, like that. I think, yeah, you could do Booleans by Booleans and find the modulus of that, like x mod y. It'll provide the remainder. So that's basically modulus. It'll just return the remainder. That will become very useful later, and we'll in the future be using modulus as well. Next, we have floor division. Remember, it's denoted with the 2 division signs. And remember, floor division will give you a result of a whole number. It's division, but it won't give you the whole answer. If there's decimal points after, it will just give you that whole integer. If you just simply do like 6 divided by 3, that's not really that. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so there's no decimal place. So you won't really see anything different. And yeah, oh shoot. Yeah, you won't see anything different. But if we change that and we actually do 5 divided by 3, which does contain a decimal, it'll only give you 1, because like I said, it'll only return whole numbers. And even if you can assign variables as well, all of them you can assign variables and still be able to do this. You can assign Booleans as well if you want. And either way, you'll still only get a whole number. That's basically modulus. Just remember, modulus will always return whole numbers, no decimal points, just whole numbers. And modulus also works for negative numbers. There you go. So that's modulus. And exponents, remember you can do something to the power of something else with denoted with the two multiplication with signs. So you can have x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4. And then you can put print 2 to the power of 4. That will return you 2 to the power of 4. And yeah, print other as 90 to the power 0. There you go. But actually here, 90 to the power of 0 is actually should be 1, but not sure why, but yeah. 80 to the power of 2. There you go. That's basically exponents as well. That's basically it with all of the arithmetic operators. All right, now let's move on to assignment operators. Assignment operators are used in Python to assign values to variables. Shown in the image, there are many equivalents in Python. We already know of the operator equal sign. You can assign variables to it, like x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2, x is equal to hello, y is equal to bye, stuff like that, right? And really that's all you can do. The only way to have something equal to something else, you do with the equal sign. But next we have the plus equal. That's the same thing as saying x plus equal to 5. X plus equal to 5 is the same thing as saying x plus 5. So if x was 2, x plus equal 5 will still give you the same answer as x is equal to x plus 5. But simply, this would just be a shortcut. You wouldn't have to write out the whole thing, x is equal to x plus 5, when you could simply have just put x plus equal to 5. They'll both just give you 7 if x was equal to 2. Same with the x minus equal. That's the same thing as x is equal to x minus 5. It's the same thing as x minus equal to 5. Same thing with all of them, it's the same thing. All of the arithmetic operators, you're able to do it, like equal sign, the plus equal to, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, as well as floor division. It's just the equivalence. So now with all of those basic knowledges of what we just said with the assigned operators, we can now be able to do all of our arithmetic operators with shortcuts. Like, for example, if x will have some values, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 77. Change x to be 25. You could simply continue and just say x is equal to x. You could have simply just said x is equal to x plus 5, and that will return you, and you would have to print x. That'll return you 30, right? But now that we know some assigned operators, instead of saying that, we could have just said x plus equal 5. And there you go, you'll get 30 again. That's the same thing with y. Simply I've just said y is equal to y plus 10, right? And if we print that variable out, it'll give you 87, right? But you could have just, again, simply just done this. And it would still give you the same value of 87. Same thing with it's the same thing with everything, right? So if x, here I'll write a lot of the different equivalents down, like x times 5. That's equivalent. That is equivalent to, is the same thing as just doing x 5. That's the same thing. And let's say y is equal to y minus 7. That's the same thing as y minus equal 7. Okay, and then let's have x x divided by x is equal to x divided by 5. That is the same thing as saying x divided equal 5. And then we have, of course, modulus. Set, that would be, let's say, let's create a new variable now. We'll have a new variable called z. Wait, no, we'll have a variable, we'll have the same variable of, let's y is equal to y modulo, let's say y modulo 5. That's the same thing. Y is equal to, that's the same thing as saying y, same thing as saying y modulo equal 5. All right, so those are just the same things. And let's now, based off of that, let us print these out and show that they are equivalent. All right, so if you do that, 125. So now if we print that out, 125 again. Now we have the next one. If we print this one, make sure you don't have a space. Python is quite sensitive with that. There you go, 70. And 70 again. Next, we have the x is equal to x divided by 5. Let's see what we'll get here. We get 5.0. Same thing as this, 5.0. And now our final one, we have y is equal to y mod 5, modulus 5. And we print out y, 2, you get a remainder of 2. Modulus gives you the remainder. Same thing as this, give you 2 again. So remember, all of these equivalent expressions you're able to use as shortcuts rather than doing assigning a variable to a longer thing. So yeah, and even if you don't have a variable, but you would still essentially need to have a variable assigned, because if we delete the variable assigned, it'll still give you 2. Yeah. So yeah, those are basic assignment operators. All right, let us continue now, and that's all of the things that we will be covering in this video today. Remember, we learned addition, how to add, subtract, multiply, divide in Python, as well as how you take to the power of something, find the modulus of something, use floor division. And we went over some assignment operators, equivalents in Python. Now we'll be moving on to some practice problems. So the first practice problem is John has a summer job as a lifeguard at his community pool. John earns $49 per day. John works as a lifeguard every day for 2 weeks. How much money does John earn in those 2 weeks? Pause the video, try to do it yourself. If you have trouble, follow along with me. I'm going to start off by giving you some hints to help you solve the problem better. So pause the video. If you're having trouble, come on back to get help. And yeah. All right. So problem number one. So John, he earns $49 per day. So what you would do is you would have to make a variable that will be able to a variable that will show how much allowance he makes. So a variable for how much money he will make, and then another variable for how many total days there will be. And since it's 2 weeks, you know how many days that will be. And then essentially you would then use those two variables and try to see if you're able to do it from there. All right, so let me solve the problem. So it says John earns $49 per day. So we'll say we'll make a variable called we'll just make a variable called earnings. Earnings is equal to how much does he make every day. He makes $49. We'll make another one. It says he works every single day for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, how many days there are? There are 7 days per week. Times 2 weeks, that'll be 14 days. So make another variable called days. We'll call that, and we'll set that to 14. Now we're asking how much money he makes in 2 weeks. You can make something called total. And remember, remember for variable names, there cannot be any. It has to start with a letter or a underscore. So we could call it total underscore earnings. Okay. And that will be equal to he earns. This is just basically like regular math. In regular math, you would say, you would assign variables, and then you would try to solve from there. So that would be the same thing here. So total earnings. So he earns 49 every day. How many times does he do it? There's multiple ways to solve this, but one way is you multiply that by to the power of 14. And that will also essentially get you the answer as well. So yeah. So, and then you could simply print out total earnings. Wait, actually, what I mean by this was actually, you would not be able to do it like this. You would have to do 49 multiplied by 14. And if you do that, you'll find out how much he makes in 2 weeks, because he makes 49 $49 every single day, and he does it for 14 days. So that's why it would be 49 times 14. So now you just print out the total underscore earnings. If you print that out, he makes 686. And there's also, remember last in part 1, we also learned about strings. You could make this look better by adding some extra stuff. Like you could add a $sign, and then you can also add in 2 weeks. And if you add that all together, it'll say 60. And you don't even need to use commas. You can also use addition, the addition sign, plus sign, which will also work out there as well. Essentially, the answer is $686. So I hope you were able to get that one correct. Other than that, we'll see you on the next practice. All right, practice problem number 2. Luke and Jose are making cookies. Luke is able to make 12 cookies in 30 minutes. Jose can make 24 cookies in 30 minutes. They make cookies for 1 hour. How many more cookies did Jose make than Luke? Pause the video again, try to solve it, and then once you get it, come back and see if you did it correct and if you got the same answer as me. All right, so let's try and solve this problem. So Luke and Jose are making the cookies. Luke is able to make 12 cookies in 30 minutes. Jose can make 24 cookies. So we'll make a variable for Luke. And Luke is able to make 12 cookies in 30 minutes, so we'll have 12. And another variable for Jose. Jose can make 24 in 30 minutes. So now we have to make another variable that will calculate. So we're gonna add into these variables. We could say, and 30 minutes. They're doing it for 1 hour, so we would have to multiply times 2 for each of them. So, like I said, you could say Luke is equal to Luke times 12. Luke times 2, and do the same for Jose. Right? Or you could simply do, like I said, remember the assignment operators. You could simply have put Luke multiplication equal to 2, and it will give you the same thing. So you can choose whatever one you can do. I'll start off by doing this one first. Okay. Yeah, you could do it this way if you want, or you could do it this way. I'll just do it this way. All right, that's for how many they are able to make. And if I print these out, (12 times 2 is 4. He can make 24 in an hour. 48, 24 times 2 is 48. He can make 48 in an hour. Okay, so now we know how many they are able to make. Now we have to find out how many more did Jose make than Luke. So clearly Jose would have made more than Luke because he's able to make 24 cookies in 30 minutes. So he's able to make more in an hour. So we'd make another variable that would say, that will be find how many more he made. So we'll say, we'll make a variable called more, and simply all we have to do is just do Luke. We just do Jose minus Luke. Print that out. That will, and I will show you how many more he makes. 24 more. He makes 24 more, and you can change numbers and if you want as well, but that's essentially how you do this question. All right, here is question number 3. Alex's car in the beginning of the 2 weeks is worth $20,000. It is worth $20,000. Every day for 2 weeks, his car's worth decreases by $2. How much is Alex's car worth by the end of the 2 weeks? Once again, pause the video, see if you're able to solve it, and then come on back. All right, welcome back. Let's solve this, the last practice problem. So we're going to start off by making a variable for how much his car is worth in the beginning of the 2 weeks. Initial, we'll call it begin price, and that's equal to and now, so every day his car decreases by $2, right? He decreases by $2. So for 2 weeks, how much is Alex's car worth by the end of the 2 weeks? So essentially, we have to find out how much money his car will decrease by. And since it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks has 14 days, and his car decreases by 2 a day. So that means it decreases of a total of 14 times 2. And we'll call it total underscore decrease. That's equal to 14, because there's 14 days in 2 weeks, times how many it decreases each day, 2. And now simply we can find his worth by just doing, you can make another variable for his final underscore price if you want, right? You could do that. Right, and then you could print out the final underscore price. Give me a second. So 14 times 2 is 28. So it decreases by a total of $28. Now you can print out begin price subtracted by the total decrease. Yikes. Let me try to solve this real quick. There's a issue real quick. All right, so I was able to solve the problem. It was a really careless mistake, but there can be a comma here. You cannot put a comma in the between, all right? Because that it will no longer be an integer, but other than that, everything works, right? Beginning price is 20,000. Total decrease is 28, and now if you print out the final price, it's going to be that number right there. And I believe you're also able to keep it as this and also print out. It'll print out the same value. All right, that's all for today. And today, what we learned is some arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, floor division, exponents, which is taken to the power of something, as well as we also learned some assignment operators, equivalents in Python. That will be all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos like this, and be sure to look out for Learn Python Part 3. Thank you. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. See ya. Bye.